thank you for coming out. It's a beautiful day. I'm thankful to have been able to ride my bike to City Hall, just as I did for most of the last 8 years. I just want to, as a candidate for mayor on the transparency and accountability line, I just want to talk a bit about my platform. I think it's really important that we have choice in this election, and then we have different ideas, and then we talk about them. I have a common sense approach that's agnostic of party affiliation, and it really focuses on core development of our city, connectivity, new accessible lending programs, increasing home ownership, transparency and accountability, safety and security as a top priority, walkability, better communication around traffic, making the neighborhoods visually appealing, strengthening our identity through art. So I basically have 9 big buckets of ideas with a bunch of ideas embedded within it. I plan to talk about each of the ideas more over time as we go, but I just want to get it all out there today. So first is just grow the urban core. I think it's really important. We have the highway coming down, it's a big opportunity. I think the priority zone for that dense development, where we really partner to get new population, new housing units, is going to be around Almond Street and East Genesee Street. I think we can stitch the university and downtown together, make Syracuse feel like one connected urban core. I think that activity will create demand for the inner ring neighborhoods, and all that investment and activity will create economic opportunities for all our residents who are here. And I think that priority area is different than the current administration. I would have a U-turn, is the way I'm describing it, with the Housing Authority, where I would appoint members who are going to focus on the current residents, the current community, and the current buildings. And we would not be in any way demolishing everything and rebuilding everything, mainly because there's not the money to do it. I don't think it's real. It's not a real plan, and we don't have the money. I also will not be giving any of the Housing Authority land to any of the institutional nonprofits, such as the universities and hospitals. 3, I would overhaul the land bank. I think we need to have a overall commitment to economic empowerment through home ownership, I think the land bank can do more to prioritize city residents and city school graduates, and can partner more with financial institutions, banks. Maybe they'll play a role as a bank where they use some of the property as collateral to help people get into homes faster. 4, financial stewardship and transparent leadership in City Hall. So the budget will be balanced. We won't have big discussions on the fund balance use every year. We will keep the property tax rate constant. I don't feel the need to increase the rate. The assessments will go up. That'll be sufficient. And I think we can fully fund public safety and all the initiatives that we need to with that approach. 5, no compromise on safety, security, including transportation. So in particular, we're going to use all the technology available to make sure Syracuse is safe. That means drones, plate readers, cameras. We're also going to aggressively use nuisance abatement, both on for-profit and non-profit institutions, to ensure that we don't have disturbances that prevent people from feeling confident in making investments in our community. Codes is going to be reoriented to focus on, to really walk the neighborhoods and focus on egregious exterior violations. And then those violations will be used to get warrants to go inside when necessary. We're going to invest in technology to communicate more around the traffic patterns and the delays, to make sure people have good information on how to get where they're going at any given time, and really try to coordinate the work that the city DPW is doing with that of New York State. 6, fire and police are going to be fully funded and actively managed. As a part of that, I would say both fire and police, they're the only city employees who put their lives on the line to do their jobs every day. I'm going to have them directly engaged in the process to choose their chief, and they will identify candidates who they believe can lead their organization and choose one who agrees with the concept of transparency and accountability. And for the first year, I would do a day with the police and fire doing whatever they think I need to do to understand their operation better, to be an advocate for public safety in Syracuse. I do think we would be able to use the pilot agreement with Syracuse University to negotiate more money, in particular probably building an engine 34. So Syracuse University to deal with the highway coming down and the additional housing that we're going to be building in that area. I think the university can be a big partner in funding that. I also think it's an opportunity to probably build housing above the firehouse Department of Sanitation. The Department of Mobility will have an urban planner as its head. I think for too long we try to kind of compete with the suburbs on their terms. We need to out-city the suburbs, and I think we can do that with thoughtful planning. Additionally, there'll be the Department of Sanitation that will focus on trash collection, and we will adjust some of the rules around carts to make it easier for people to get rid of excess trash and bulk items, which currently I see as a problem in a number of neighborhoods where people don't necessarily know or follow the rules, and trash gets stacked on the side over here. Properties creating sanitation problems. 8, safer, cleaner, more sustainable water system and waterways. So I love to bike. My family, we live next to a creek. The creek runs into Onondaga Creek. The creek goes through the city. It connects to the lake. It's really the spiritual home of the native people. So I really think we're all connected to the water, and we're going to make sure we have clean water and that we have access. Like, I would work with the county to help make sure they finish the Loop Lake Trail, because even though it's not in the city, it really makes the trail in the city more valuable. But also make sure the secondary intake pipe happens so that we have some redundancy and resiliency in the event of algae blooms or anything. And then I would prioritize replacement to accommodate the federal mandate to meet all the deadlines there. I would really use that as an opportunity for local businesses to engage in the city procurement process. It's a new place where we don't have established vendors. I think it's a great opportunity for people to get work with the city. Last, we're going to build new monuments, and we're going to keep existing monuments. I think public art matters. We'll build an eternal flame to remember the victims of gun violence in Clinton Square. We will. I would like to do an RFP to see what people have for ideas around reusing the material from 81. So taking the physical material that separated us for generations and using it to build something amazing that will unite us and bring us together around like the center of our city, with all the development connecting downtown to the university. And additionally, I would just say Columbus will stand. I think we need to learn from history and not destroy it. So really, that's like the overview of the platform. I hope to be able to talk about a lot of them over time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
So you're definitely on the ballot in this party that you're following
the independent line is called Transparency and Accountability, okay. And I'm on the ballot.
And absolutely, there's no one.
I am absolutely on the ballot. Jeremy, do you agree that I'm absolutely on the ballot?
He's on the ballot.
I'm on the ballot.
So who is your constituency? Who do you want to vote for you, and how this plan is aimed at them?
I want every city resident to consider me, and I think I am the thoughtful, passionate voice that will do the work to make Syracuse a vibrant place to live. And I think I'm from here. I chose to stay here. I'm going to remain here. And I think there's a lot we can do better than what we've had over the last 8 years. And I'm going to push ideas that draw contrast. And I'm going to talk passionately about how I believe in our community. And I hope people will consider me. And I hope everyone, party affiliation, demographics, I think we have to have the best people lead our city. And I hope people get to see that over the next couple months.
Our team specifically has not gotten a chance to ask you about the conditions in which you departed City Hall and your official job, the comments that some said were racial and disparaging against Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens, now your opponent in this race. Do you have anything to say just about those comments that were made, and anything you want to clear up for people who might be thinking about that in the back of their head when they're thinking about who they want to lead Syracuse next?
I've tried to address that on my website. I would recommend anybody to go there. I've knocked 6,000 doors and gotten over 1,700 signatures myself. I plan to keep knocking doors. I did 5 weeks of door knocking. I'm going to do 9 weeks of door knocking. I think I'm going to get to 20,000 doors. So if people have a question, they can ask me in person. And I would like to talk about ideas. I think we need a robust debate about what have the results been the last 8 years, and what do we need the next 8 years to really have a vibrant, diverse, inclusive, wonderful place to be.
But that is something that is being talked about in certain circles. Can you use this time, though? I know you want to talk about ideas in your platform, which is important, but that is something that did happen. So what do you want to say to people while you have the platform now, I guess?
Well, there's many things that happen, and there's many things that will happen. I want to talk about how we can grow as a city. I've been in the city government for the last 8 years. I was elected citywide as a councilor. I served with honor as the budget director, and any controversy, I attempt to explain it on my website, and I will attempt to explain it in person. But in the media, I prefer to talk about ideas and what we need to do. And I've given 9, maybe with 25 ideas embedded within those 9 concepts. And I think they draw a contrast to the current administration. And I think we should have that debate. That's the debate that I think the community needs. And when I knock doors, that's the debate people want when I'm there.
Do people bring that up ever?
People will bring it up sometimes, but there's often like, hey, we appreciate you, and we appreciate you being willing to give up a job that it's a good job here to stand up for your own values. And then from there, I would just say there are people who want controversy because they don't have ideas, they don't have results, so they want to create controversy. I'm here to talk about results, talk about plans for the future, and I hope that we can all do that because that's what this community needs. We don't need any more division and controversy that is created. We need really thoughtful debate about the future of our city at this moment when we have so much potential.
So you don't believe that you leaving City Hall and leaving that official leadership job in that capacity was due to it? I mean, were they not comments that had racial and disparaging undertones?
I've attempted to address this on my website. Go look at my website. When I knock your door, ask me.
But we're in front of you and we're
Right.
asking on behalf of
Do you
constituents.
stand behind the comparisons of Sharon Owens to a slave breaker? You invoke that concept. You doubled down on it a couple times. And would you like to pull that back or explain that a different way?
Would you be able to put the word slave breaker in quotes for me?
Would I be able to put it in quotes? I don't remember the exact
You don't remember?
phrase, but
You don't remember the exact phrase?
you invoke the whole concept.
Would you be able to put the word slave breaker in quotes?
I don't know.
I don't think you
could.
would.
Okay,
You
so
would
you're
not.
saying the comparison,
So,
the historical
I'm
comparison.
saying there are people who want controversy, and there are people who want results, truth, and passion for this community. I have no hatred, nothing but love for all the people in Syracuse. I've been here my whole life. I went to Henniger, I went to SU, I went to the Maxwell School. I live on the south side. I don't have a problem on my block. I don't have a problem with my family, right? People know me here, and I'm here to fight for Syracuse and for results. And I'm not gonna stand and do anything else. We have real problems, real challenges, and real opportunities. And I am a qualified voice for that debate, and that's the debate I'm gonna have.
Are you going to be in any, join any debates or?
I will join all the debates.
And when these questions come up at these issues, at those times, are you going to stand by your ideas you talk about on my website?
I think there's 9 ideas. I think we got to talk about the development strategy for the city, where the focus on growth is going to be. I think it needs to be around Almond Street and East Genesee Street. I think the housing authority is a mess. I think we need to focus on the existing people and the housing units there. I think that's a discussion the current administration may not want to have. I think we need to talk about the land bank. It doesn't sufficiently prioritize residents or city school graduates. It doesn't sufficiently maximize ownership opportunities. These are all real things. We need a Department of Mobility to focus on how people get around. I'm the only candidate who's been riding my bike around here for basically my whole life, but certainly the last 8 years, riding to City Hall almost every day. I'm a passionate advocate for all of that. I don't think any of the other candidates are. We got to talk about connectivity, the sidewalk program. I was an advocate for the sidewalk program on the council. I was a practical builder of the sidewalk program as the budget director. I think there's ways to expand the sidewalk program and do it even better, make Syracuse a great place to live. And I believe the average resident wants to hear about those things and the rest of the ideas on my platform far more than any kind of created controversy.
Well, what if they do go on your website and they read all of that or listen to all of that or however it is on your website and they have questions for you? Will you say that you're just going to point them to your website?
Well,
because we're trying to ask those questions on behalf of those people.
Sure. I think I'm standing here saying we have real challenges, real opportunities. I'm putting ideas out there. The platform's on the website. I hope that we can look at it and talk about it thoughtfully. And I hope we get to have a real debate.
So when you say, you didn't say slave breaker, that's not a direct quote. Could you just explain the Willie Lynch comparison? What you meant by that as far as Sharon Owens?
I would just say over and over again that you couldn't put it in quotes. And that's the number one word people say.
But you're not explaining the Willie
I don't-
Lynch comparison.
You know, there are a lot of things in that 2-hour video that could be explained. I think most people who have heard it have a takeaway of, oh wow, this guy's passionate. Oh wow, this guy really cares. He's thoughtful. I think they even might think, wow, this guy's really of Syracuse. Like in a lot of ways, he's expressing a care, and I feel I'm really expressing an affinity for all of Syracuse in that, which is what I feel. I feel a love for everyone in Syracuse. I have no hatred. I've had nobody who said I have hatred for a group of people in that discussion. No one. The people who know me know that I'm passionate for Syracuse, know that I fight for everybody, and I've proven that. Okay, and people know that. Whether people want that to be the debate or not, that's beyond my control. But I'm going to talk about the ideas and the things that I think we need to focus on.
What if they don't want that though? If they know that you were taken out of, asked to leave your job in a leadership role at City Hall regarding comments like that?
I mean, I declared for mayor before that. I gave a resignation date at the end of the year before that. There was a lot of discussion of a whistleblower, and like if you want to have questions, if you want to dig into all that's in the tape, people can dig into it. People have to think critically about it, but I'm here to talk about the ideas. I think we need a new approach in City Hall. The current leadership is committed to their narrative over reality, and until we get truth and acknowledgement of the truth on the ground in Syracuse, there will be no progress. And we have a group of leaders who all press and all narrative all the time, and that's what they do. I assume they will continue to beat this drum because they view it as their path to victory. I'm here largely with my own ideas, with my own work ethic, with my own results, right? And saying, consider the alternative. And that's it. Yeah.
In terms of your campaign, you're kind of starting, it's just you here today. You don't have big signs and big crowds. I know you were just getting started on trying to raise some funds. Can you kind of just give us a sense of who's behind you and the level, how you're going to be able to get your message out to a wide swath?
I intend to raise absolutely minimal funds, and I intend to maximize the door knocking and the idea sharing, right? I've been here. I think I've been the most thoughtful pusher of ideas on the council over the last 8 years, really of any other, let's say, bureaucrat within City Hall. I think I wrote more thoughtful ideas in the past in Syracuse.com and other places, and so why would I do anything else? That's what I do. I push ideas. I fight for Syracuse. That's what I'm going to continue to do. The people who know me know that I fight for all of us, and I don't have any hatred. I have nothing but love for everyone in Syracuse.
Your staff or anything, anybody's helping you, or just you? Are you one-man band?
Am I a one-man band? Joe Driscoll is the one-man band. I have friends and I have family and I have people who like me and help me, and I'm choosing to largely do the work individually. I think the most effective advocate on my behalf is me at the door. And I think my time is better spent knocking doors and talking to voters who vote. And I have been a data person. I know how to look at the voter file and make my walk list. And I know how to record things and track it. And I'm not planning on raising lots of money to send people mail that they can throw out. I have ideas. They're on the website. I'm going to reactivate my social media to make sure that I'm sharing it. And that's just a necessary evil. It's an opportunity without a lot of cost. And I don't think the mail is effective. I don't think asking people who don't live in Syracuse for money is effective. And I think that I can knock doors. That's the best use of my time, going to the public debates and being a passionate advocate for Syracuse.
No homemade lawn signs or anything for your kids to write some lawn signs and put them up?
The lawn sign is funny because at the moment I would say I'm not going to do any lawn signs. I'm kind of open to the concept. I'm a big advocate of reusing things. My garden is basically all reused stuff. So there are these moments where I envisioned these pallets with Run for Mayor, but that just seemed like more work too and unnecessary. So I think it's going to be an underground campaign. It's going to be, hey, I need your vote, I want your consideration, and I need you to talk to the 5 people in your network that trust you, that you met me, you see me, and you think I'm the right person for the job. And that's how I think I would run the city. I would run the city by really being directly involved and hiring the best people, because I would know the work involved, and making sure they're out on the ground, seeing the reality, and building solutions in our community. And I think the best are going to want to work here.
In terms of a couple of the things, the East Adams U-turn, U-turn.
The U-turns for the housing authority. Yeah, sure, East Adams.
So
I got
It's
you.
not,
kind
a,
of-
not a real U-turn, but a figurative U-turn.
Try to, one of the concepts that I know you've advocated for is decentralizing poverty, and would you try to do stuff to renovate so that you could have mixed income neighborhood there?
So for
or-
the dominant neighborhood in Syracuse, right, the 55 census tracts or whatever it may be, concentrated poverty is a major problem and requires deliberate intervention to make healthier levels, right, to keep it under 20% poverty. When it's above 20%, it's really problematic. For that area, it has great proximity to downtown and to the university, which offers real economic opportunity already for people. So it's in a way a great place to have affordable housing for people who need it, because there's already pre-existing opportunity. We don't need to move them. They are close to opportunities, and there will be more opportunities with downtown thriving.
And I just, on your budget balancing, how do you get there? Like, is that year one budget balanced? And if so, how do you get there? Do you cut?
Well, year one is half the current administration's budget, which I think they
Year
have the
first full fiscal year one.
They might overspend what they should spend in 6 months, maybe. So
The question is, how do you get to the balanced budget? We've had the structural imbalance for many years.
well, I think you have to cut some things and maintain other things, and in general, the revenues do go up. So I do think that, and there is a large fund balance at the moment. You have to maintain a healthy fund balance and really demonstrate that you're not going to drain the fund balance to half. So like, I definitely, and at this point, the revenue from the fund balance is actually one of the bigger growing sources of revenue. So all the more you don't really want to drain it. But I think there's a lot of ways to restructure to make it more efficient. I have been in the budget discussions for the last 4 years, minus this year, and well, for 4 years before this year. And I think I have a lot of thoughts on what we can do and how we can do more with what we already have.
Any specific cuts about you mentioned communications?
Definitely communication. I think there's a risk of PR arguing. I think we need that. I think there's probably $1 million in that. Anyway, and I think the results have to speak for themselves. We don't need the sophisticated media strategy and all the consultants and all the people. I think most people in Syracuse know what we need, and we need to focus on that and doing it efficiently, using technology where we can. I think there's a lot of technology where we maybe err on the side of not using it, so we're a little afraid. But I think we can use it to empower our staff and get more from them. And I think it can all be good for the staff. I don't view it as like, hey, you're going to have to go without a pay cut, or a pay cut, or a pay without a pay raise, or whatever it is. Like, we're going to take care of our staff, and they're going to be happy, healthy, productive employees. And I think they like that approach. And I do think there's a number of employees that can be gone the first day, and I don't have any to fill jobs for.
You said that the Walsh administration doesn't understand the truth of Syracuse. What is the truth of Syracuse?
Well, I just think they have a narrative that everything is okay, crime is down, right? And I think there's a bunch of complications that go into that. So there's still definitely issues with crime, like even just making sure the police are showing up to every call, making sure the reports are being written. There's a number of things that happen that what I hear on the ground and what I just think there's a number of things that they have a narrative that they prioritize, and it doesn't. So the cards work great, no problem, the trash cards. When I see there are very much houses that have stacks of trash on the side. So there's something about their narrative that doesn't match what I'm observing in the neighborhoods, and they don't recognize it, so they don't build solutions that actually get rid of that trash, because in their world, that trash doesn't exist. And I think that metaphor holds across a bunch of policy areas. So it's kind of like the secondary intake pipe. How many years has that been a capital project? Does it exist? It's not finished. I don't even know if it's still an active project, but it's definitely an active project whenever they say it is. But it's like, so they prioritize the narrative, their image, over, I think they're afraid of getting dirty. And because of that, they don't do the work that we need to get done. And Syracuse has real work that needs to be done. And I don't think someone who's afraid of, like, I don't know, carrying their ankle on the pants